The year is 2025 and the American auto industry is staring into the abyss. Once a beacon of innovation and economic strength, it now faces an uncertain future. What was once a symbol of American industrial might is now teetering on the precipice of disaster. The bustling factories and thriving communities of yesteryear are now ghost towns, relics of a bygone era. Major players, the titans of the industry, are openly expressing fears of collapse. Their once confident faces now show signs of worry and desperation. The very foundation of the American auto industry is crumbling, and the consequences could be devastating. The infrastructure that supported millions of jobs and countless families is deteriorating rapidly. The warning signs are impossible to ignore. From the factory floors to the executive boardrooms, the sense of impending doom is palpable. CEOs of major car manufacturers are sounding the alarm, with some predicting a mere 12 months to survive. The grim forecasts are not just numbers, they represent the potential end of an era. These aren't empty threats. They're the desperate pleas of executives facing an unprecedented crisis. Resignations are becoming commonplace as leaders who once steered the industry through thick and thin now find the challenges insurmountable. As experienced leaders jump ship, realizing the seemingly insurmountable challenges ahead. The exodus of talent is a clear indicator of the dire situation. But this isn't just about struggling companies, it's about the livelihoods of millions of Americans. The ripple effects of this crisis extend far beyond the factory gates, touching every corner of the nation. The auto industry has long been a cornerstone of the American economy, providing jobs, supporting communities, and driving innovation. Its decline threatens to unravel the very fabric of society. The potential collapse of this industry would send shockwaves throughout the nation, impacting every American in one way or another. The economic repercussions would be felt in every household, every community. The American auto industry is at a crossroads, facing a perfect storm of challenges that threaten its very existence. From technological disruptions to economic pressures, the hurdles are immense. The road ahead is fraught with uncertainty, but one thing is clear: the time for action is now. The decisions made in the coming months will determine the fate of an industry that has been a pillar of American strength. The fate of the American auto industry hangs in the balance. The stakes have never been higher, and the world is watching. The struggles of the American auto industry are perhaps best illustrated by the plight of two giants, Nissan and Stellantis. These companies, once the epitome of automotive innovation and success, are now facing unprecedented challenges that threaten their very existence. These companies, once symbols of automotive excellence, are now grappling with existential threats, their futures hanging by a thread. The decline of these giants is a stark reminder of how quickly fortunes can change in the highly competitive auto industry. Nissan, the Japanese automaker with a long and storied history in the United States, finds itself in dire straits. Once a dominant player in the market, Nissan is now struggling to maintain its foothold amidst fierce competition and changing consumer preferences. Facing mounting losses and a dwindling market share, the company has been forced to implement drastic cost-cutting measures. These measures include closing down underperforming dealerships and scaling back on new model launches. Thousands of jobs have been slashed, and production capacity has been significantly reduced. The impact on local communities has been devastating, with many workers left uncertain about their future. Even these desperate measures, however, may not be enough to save the company. Analysts warn that without a significant turnaround, Nissan could face bankruptcy or be forced into a merger. Nissan's CEO has publicly stated that the company has just over a year to turn things around, painting a bleak picture of the challenges ahead. The pressure is mounting and the clock is ticking. Stellantis, the multinational conglomerate that includes iconic American brands like Chrysler, Dodge, and Jeep, is also facing turbulent waters. Despite its diverse portfolio, the company is struggling to adapt to the rapidly changing market dynamics. Despite posting record profits in recent years, the company is now grappling with declining sales and a bloated inventory of unsold vehicles. The shift towards electric vehicles and changing consumer preferences have caught Stellantis off guard. The sudden resignation of CEO Carlos Tavares in December 2024 sent shockwaves through the industry, further highlighting the uncertainty surrounding the company's future. His departure has left a leadership vacuum at a critical juncture. The struggles of Nissan and Stellantis are not isolated incidents. They are symptomatic of a broader crisis engulfing the American auto industry. The industry as a whole is grappling with technological disruptions, regulatory changes, and shifting consumer behaviors. These once mighty companies are now grappling with a confluence of factors that threaten their very survival. The rise of electric vehicles, increased competition from tech companies, and global economic uncertainties are all playing a role. Their plight serves as a stark warning to the rest of the industry: adapt or perish. The future of the American auto industry hangs in the balance, and the actions taken today will determine its fate for years to come. The auto industry is in the throes of a technological revolution, a seismic shift driven by the relentless rise of electric vehicles, or EVs. This transformation, while ultimately positive for the environment and the future of mobility, is proving to be a painful process for legacy automakers slow to adapt. The transition to EVs requires a fundamental rethinking of automobile design and manufacturing. Traditional internal combustion engine technology, the bread and butter of the auto industry for over a century, is rapidly becoming obsolete. Automakers are now faced with the daunting task of mastering new technologies, from electric motors and battery packs to sophisticated software and charging infrastructure. This technological leap requires massive investments in research and development, as well as the retooling of factories and the training of workforces. For legacy automakers burdened by legacy costs and entrenched in traditional manufacturing processes, this transition is proving to be a significant challenge. Furthermore, the rise of EVs has opened the door to new competitors, nimble startups, and tech giants with expertise in electrification and software. These new players are unburdened by the legacy costs and outdated infrastructure of traditional automakers, giving them a significant competitive advantage. The American auto industry is facing a double whammy: a technological revolution and a fundamental shift in market dynamics. This transformation is not just about the cars themselves, but also about how people perceive and use them. The concept of peak auto has gained traction, suggesting that the era of ever-increasing car sales may be coming to an end. This idea is supported by the visible saturation in car dealerships and trade shows, where the sheer number of vehicles often exceeds the demand. In mature markets like the United States, car ownership has reached saturation point. Suburban neighborhoods and urban streets are filled with parked cars, indicating that most households already have the vehicles they need. Most households already own one or more vehicles, and the desire for additional cars is waning. The convenience of having multiple cars is now overshadowed by the costs and responsibilities associated with maintaining them. Young people, in particular, are less interested in car ownership, opting instead for ride-sharing services, public transportation, or alternative modes of transportation like bicycles and scooters. This shift is driven by a combination of economic factors and changing lifestyle preferences. This shift in consumer behavior is further exacerbated by factors such as urbanization, the rising cost of living, and growing environmental concerns. As cities become more crowded and the cost of living increases, owning a car becomes less practical and more of a financial burden. As cities become more congested and expensive, car ownership becomes less appealing, particularly for younger generations who prioritize experiences over material possessions. They are more inclined to invest in travel, dining, and other experiences rather than in owning a car. The implications of peak auto for the auto industry are significant. Automakers must now navigate a landscape where traditional sales models are no longer as effective, and innovation is crucial for survival. With demand for new cars stagnating or even declining in key markets, automakers are facing a future of intense competition for a shrinking pool of customers. This scenario forces companies to rethink their strategies and explore new avenues for growth. This reality demands a fundamental rethink of business models, with a greater emphasis on services, mobility solutions, and alternative revenue streams. Automakers are now exploring car-sharing services, subscription models, and other innovative solutions to stay relevant in a rapidly changing market. As the global auto industry faces unprecedented challenges, Chinese automakers are stepping up to the plate. They're not just aiming to compete, they're aiming to lead. With innovative technology, competitive pricing, and a growing reputation for quality, These companies are making waves on the global stage. It's a dynamic shift that could reshape the future of the automotive world. How will established brands respond to this emerging powerhouse? Only time will tell, but one thing is certain: the competition is heating up. The auto industry is facing significant challenges, with tariffs and economic headwinds battering its stability. Companies are grappling with increased costs while the market remains volatile and unpredictable. Rising costs are putting a strain on manufacturers, and consumers are feeling the pinch too. Shrinking wallets mean fewer people can afford new cars, leading to a dip in sales and a tough market for automakers to navigate. To survive, the industry must explore potential solutions and adaptations. Innovations in technology, shifts towards electric vehicles, and strategic partnerships could pave the way for a more resilient future. As we look ahead, the American auto industry must navigate an uncertain future. Flexibility, innovation, and a keen understanding of market dynamics will be crucial for overcoming the challenges that lie ahead.